Okay, so talking about standard controller, as we know that every object has got some pages. So we while we were talking about page layouts, we have seen that there are certain page layouts available for all the objects, all standard as well as all custom objects, right? Which means that every object has got a controller, okay, which is a standard controller, which is a controller which has been defined by salesforce.com, because there are pages, which means the controllers are also there already, right? So in our Visualforce pages, if we want to use, we can use those controllers, okay? And it's very simple to use a standard controller. You just have to name the standard controller, and name of the standard controller is exactly same as name of the object. Like if you want to use a standard controller for account, you should say standard controller equals account. Okay, now writing this piece of code will do what? It will connect your Visualforce page with the account object at the back end. Got it? So this controller becomes a connect between the page and the account object. If you want to display data, and which again means that you then you can display the data from account object on that page. Why are we doing the connect? We are doing the connect so that we can get the data from that particular object on the page, right? If you want to display data from opportunity, then what should you write? You should write standard controller equals opportunity. Got it? If you want this thing to be connected to case, then you should say standard controller equals case. So that's it, right? So basically, writing this piece of code connects your page with a backend database object, and once it's connected to the backend database object, you can display the data from that particular object on the page. Now that is what this controller concept is. All right, so let's create a page. So how do we create a page? Delete everything after salesforce.com / type apex, put a slash, and then call it something else, v2. Okay. Now this is a page where I want to display data from account object. So what I'll have to do, I'll just have to write, let me delete everything. I told you this part is mandatory, right? Starting a page component and ending a page component, this is something which has to be there. This we cannot skip, okay? And where the controller needs to be defined, it needs to be defined as an attribute to the page component. So now this page gets connected to the account object. Now you can display data from the account object on this page, okay? And to display data from any field, this is the formula: account.field name. Now, since it's connected to the account object, we should write account !account dot field name. Field name can be anything, whatever field name. Account dot industry line break, account dot phone, okay? So this is how the code is written. Simple. Now the problem is, though I've written the code, I do not see any data coming on my page. I've written the code, it does not have any error, I have saved it, it gets saved, but does not display the data. Can anyone tell me why it does not show me data on the page? The code I've asked to display data of account, name and industry and phone. Why doesn't it show me the data here on the page? Okay, Swati says we have to run the script. There is nothing like running a script here. We just have to save the changes. So the changes have been saved. Now what is the problem with this? No. Sonu says form component is missing. No, nothing like that.
We should say the account name means if we create IBM with account name is IBM, then we should call IBM in the script.
Okay. This is somewhere close. This answer is somewhere close. So anyone else who wants to give it a try? So what I don't know whether it was Sridhar or Chandu. So this was pretty close. Not exactly correct, but yeah, pretty close. Anyone else who wants to give it a try? Problem is,
could it be that we need to define the labels, basically the columns, how the data should be displayed?
not how the data should be displayed. We should define which data to be displayed, basically. I have said account.name. Microphones on mute, please, everyone. Can you have the microphones on mute? Yeah. See, what we have done is we have defined that which field or what data I want to see. I have said account.name. Now there can be 10,000 accounts in this object. Which account's name I want to see? I have not specified that. Right? So somewhere we'll have to specify which account are we talking about. Name of which account, right? So for that what we'll do is, how do we define that? You can go to accounts, click on any account. We have to take the ID of the account. I told you earlier also, while talking about data loader, we have seen that there is an ID field which is available for every record, right? For every object. Now we'll have to take the ID of the record. We need to take that ID. We need to just put that ID in the page. So after the page name, you just need to give question mark ID equals and then put the ID. Correct? V2 is a generic page which can work for any record, but which record data you want to display, that you have to supply after this in the URL. Correct? So now I am talking about Highland Energy Services. Okay, so I've taken the ID, just put the ID and press enter here. You see the data now? If you supply the ID for some other record, Extreme Solutions, got this? So this is what we have to do. We have defined what we want to see in the code, and which record are we talking about, that needs to be defined in the URL. Got it? So standard controller can display only one record at a time. That is quite obvious from here. What we see is we can just supply one ID in the URL, and that is the reason why we can just have one record being displayed on the page. So if you are using a standard controller on a page, we'll be able to display one record's data from the standard controller object. Got it? So very simple. And this ID thing can be made dynamic so that it gets automatically populated. We'll talk about that, how we can actually populate the ID automatically and stuff like that. But that can be made dynamic, and that can change on its own. So we don't have to supply the ID every time. Just that we have to understand this logic, how this page is created and how it is connected with the backend database object, right? So it creates a generic page for you, and this ID needs to be supplied in the URL. Based on the ID, it picks the record data and displays it on the page. Is that correct? Everyone is okay on this? Right. Now let's create a few more components. So we have seen how do we bring the data from the object. Now let me create a few more components here. Okay, there is another component which is called a page block. So if you use this page block component, again, most of the components you will have to start and you will have to close them, right? There are some components which can be closed, on the same line, but most of these Visualforce components you will have a start of them and you will have to end the component. Okay, so page block is again the one component which you have to start and end. What does this page block do? Do you see this small block created here? So it creates a block within the page, so a rectangular block, right? Now what you can do is you can put your markup inside that block. See, now my markup has come inside that page block. Got it? If I want, I can create another page block. Good thing about Visualforce is that you don't have to type everything. Okay, so you just get that IntelliSense and you can just type a few letters and choose the one that you actually want. I can put account facts there, account dot facts. So the fax number seems is not given in the record itself. Yeah, there is no fax number. That is the reason why it does not display here. But you can use these blocks. So this page block is basically used for giving a bit of professional look to your page. Wherever you need these kind of blocks, these are ready-made available. Okay. Otherwise, you can do this using HTML coding also with the HTML tags, but that will take you a bit of time to write the tag for these kind of square boxes or rectangular boxes and put the background color and stuff like that. Page block comes very handy. You can straight away use it and it gives a professional look to your page. All right. Now, page block has an attribute called title. Okay, so this title will be basically defined as a title of the page block. So you can write whatever title you want. Let me give the title account details. See, the other page block, I give the title as fax number. See, so title is the attribute, page block is the component. Got it? So this is how we can bring in data from a few pages and stuff like that, and we can also use the different components to display the data the way we want, right? So we have seen page block. There is another component which is called a page block section. Now, page block section is primarily used for building further sections into the page block. Okay, like this is one page block. Inside this, if you want to form sections, then what you can do is apex, and I told you all Visualforce components will start with apex colon. So apex page block section. Okay, and you can give a title for the section also. Call it name. Put it inside that particular section. See, inside the page block there is a section called name. Under that, name is there. All right. Same way I can create more page block sections. Apex page block section. Title, industry, apex page block section. Title, phone. Got it? So that's about our page blocks and page block section. Okay, let's do a few more examples. So I'll just move out of this page. We'll go to another page, V3. Standard controller. Okay, this time I want to create a page for displaying data from contact. So what should be my standard controller? I want to display data from contact. So shall I write this? Is it correct?
No, we should write contact.
We should write contact. Right. Okay. Now my other question is, shall I write contact or contacts?
Contacts.
How do you know that?
I mean, we don't have any tab with contact.
For account, did I write account or accounts?
Account.
Account only.
Tab is different, object is different. Okay, so we need to understand that. You have to write the object name, not the tab. Okay. So
Yes.
object name, no.
Okay.
Account and contact, I am telling you contact, but how will you understand while you are doing it? You always have that option of going and checking the object name. Where do you check the object name? You can just go to setup, customize, and the standard objects, I think everyone knows the names, so it should not be a problem. See, account fields. So this is the object name. Field names, while I was using account.name and account.industry, field names also need to be correct. Okay, so if I say that display the owner of the record, then this is the field name. Got it? There are field labels. So we do not use labels in the programming. We just use the field names and object names. Okay. Standard object names you will know, because there are very few of them, and it's very easy to remember them. But field names you will need to come here and check, like website, what is the field name exactly, type, number of employees. See, label is employees, field name is number of employees. So you want to display number of employees, you have to say account dot number of employees. Got it? In case you have created a custom field, then you have to use the API name for that. Okay. So copy this entire thing from _lead _C. Right. So let me create. Okay, let me create another page with account only. I'm not going to create this on contacts. Okay, now let's look into a few more components. So I start with a page block. Okay, in the page block we have this title, right? In the previous page we used the title and we defined a static title. We defined the title. We're using a static title. If I want account name to appear as the title, then inside that title you can just write this one. As simple as that. Fine. Now the account name will appear as the title. Okay. Now, if you want to display all the data or all the complete data of the record. Last example we just displayed 3-4 fields, account.name, industry. If I want to display the complete record on the page, then what do I do? Then you can simply use use another component which is called Apex Detail. Okay, Apex Detail, one single component will display the entire detail of the record. Which record? The one that you supply the ID here. Okay, so let me take the ID from one of the accounts. Save it. Question mark ID equals, paste it. Okay, so this one detail component, earlier what I did, I was displaying data one by one. So if you just want to display 3 or 4 fields, you can use that account.name, account.industry, account.type, that sort of thing. If you want to display data like this, all the data or the entire record details, then you can just use this component, apex detail component. I told you, some components can be closed on the same line. So this is one of them, apex detail. It gets closed on the same line. Okay. So see, one apex detail component brings in the entire details of that record, Highland Energy. Account owner, name, billing address, this, that, everything comes up. Okay. Okay. Now along with the details of the record, account record, I also see the list of contacts, open activities, activity history. These are called related list, right? I'm also able to see the related list. What if I don't want to see the related list? I just want to see the details of the record. If you don't want to see related list, then in the apex detail component, there is an attribute called related list. You just have to make it false. That's it. See, earlier it was just apex detail. Now I have added an attribute here. Related list equals false. Now if you look into this, your related list is not being displayed here. See, no related list. All right. Okay. There's another thing that you might have noticed, that details are being displayed only on half of the screen. Half of the screen is left blank. Did you notice that? Doesn't it look weird? The entire thing has come into half of the screen and the rest part of it is blank. Okay. This is because apex page block section component that we are using, just understand this logic. This page block section component, this by default has 2 columns. Okay, which means the detail component, which is entering as a child of page block section, that gets into the first column. Okay, page block section has 2 columns by default, and inside that I've put another component. This is getting into the first column and second column is completely empty. So what is the solution to that? Solution is go and make number of columns for this as 1. Then what will happen? It will have just 1 column and the data will get spread across the page. Got it? If you want to put a title also to this page block section, you can put a title, just call it something like account details, whatever. Okay, so I have this page block section and I have given a title to it. Another small thing that you need to notice is this page block section by default is collapsible. Collapsible means there is this button which allows us to collapse the section. Okay, so by default it's collapsible. However, if you don't want this to be collapsible, you have an attribute here which is called collapsible. By default it's collapsible. You just make it collapsible equals false. Now this is not collapsible anymore. All right. Okay. Now I've created the page. You see how easy it is to create the Visualforce page. Yesterday we were talking about how easy it is to create the page, and now you see how easy it is to bring in the data also in the page, right? It takes you a few minutes, just your understanding, and it takes you a few minutes to start designing pages which look so professional also, because of the default look and feel. Anyone who has worked on HTML, has done some sort of small assignment on HTML will know how difficult it would be to create the same kind of a thing on an HTML. You'll have to think about the colors, background colors, and what is that thing called, the layout, designing and stuff like that, and it will take up a lot of time and energy. Here we are just using the components, and the best part is all these components are designed in such a way that it completely matches with the default the color combination or the background look and feel of the Salesforce.com. So it starts looking very professional. So Salesforce.com basically saves us from all that useless work, and we can simply focus on what exactly we want, what kind of data my customers want to see, what sort of functionalities my client wants to have on the page. So we can completely focus on that instead of focusing too much on the color combinations and doing the CSS and stuff like that, right? Okay. Okay, so Swati has a question. Edit and delete comes by default. Edit and delete and whatever is coming from the detail page. So whatever buttons are there on the detail page, those buttons are coming here, right? Because this detail component is bringing all the details of the actual record. So along with that, these buttons will also come. Okay. Now there is one more thing. We have made related list equal false. Okay. Now my manager says that you have removed all the related list. I did not ask you to remove all the related list. I just want to see opportunities. Okay, so we can have a requirement like this. There are 8 related lists actually, and my manager says that I don't want to see all 8 of them. I just want to see one of them, opportunities. After this ends, I want to see opportunities. Now what do I do? There's another component. So if I make related list equal true, then what will happen? All the related list will appear, which I don't want. So the best thing is use another component which is called an apex related list. And for related list, because you can't use it like this, because there are multiple related lists, so you have to define which related list you want to display. So I want to display opportunities. Here it is. So only the opportunity part is coming. Correct? So this way you can design your page as per the requirement. You can display the details as well as the related lists as per our requirement. Alright. If you want one more related list, let me take some other record which has got some values. Okay, this has got some data, so let me just go with this. Big life. Okay. Let me see. Okay. That's fine. I think we're using one of them. It's okay. Universal Technologies. Now, I have one related list here. Okay. Let's say I'm required to create a couple of more related lists on the same page. After this, I am required to create one more related list on the same page. Let's say contacts, cases, right? Now, once I have these related lists available here, sometimes it may happen. Right now, I don't have too much of data in this record, right? But don't you think there is a possibility that you can have 25 opportunities, some 15 contacts, some 40 cases, right? So these related lists, if you have multiple related lists being displayed on the page, and if there are multiple records, there are too many records under each related list, then this page may become a very long page. Okay, and the end user might find it difficult to browse through it, navigate, right? So in that case, we'll have to think of another way of displaying the same data. Let's say this is data, and my sales guy says that, hey, you know what, it's very difficult for me to navigate from the top to bottom, and there are multiple records under this and the other related list, and it becomes very difficult for me to look for the exact information. Okay, so in that case, what we are going to do is we can create another kind of a setup. The same page can be created with a different layout, where for the related list I can create different tabs. So now all these related lists are just listed vertically. Instead of having the related lists vertically, what I can do is I can just create multiple tabs on the page. Okay, so there can be a detail tab, there can be a tab for opportunities, there can be a tab for the cases, there can be a tab for the contacts, that way, right? So that's the example that we're going to do now. So let me just go ahead and create another page. So same example. Okay. I do not copy the code from any of the pages throughout these sessions, and I would also suggest or recommend you also not to copy the code any point of time, at least for next 6 months. All right. Once you are used to writing the codes, you can definitely copy the code, and copy is what you are going to do most of the times. But at this point of time, more you write, more you will understand, right? So for that only, I just want you to get into that habit of writing the code right from the scratch, and I want to show you also that how simple it is to write it. Most of the times you guys actually make a big mistake by copying the code. Okay, let me copy the code from what I will share these codes with you. You will try to copy the code. That is a bad habit, at least for the next 6 months. All right. Okay. So I will create a page block first. And I'll give it a title, account details with tabs. Just give it any name. Now for creating a tab, first what we need to do is we need to create a tab panel. So tab panel is basically a panel on which the tabs can be set. If you look into the default Salesforce page, you see all these tabs are there, home, chatter, file, and these are all on this panel, right? So first of all, we'll need to create the panel, and we can set all the tabs on that panel. So just put a tab panel. It's as simple as this. You just have to create the tab panel. That's it. Nothing else needs to be written here. Inside that, now you can use a tab component. And for a tab component, you have an attribute of labeling the tab. Okay, the panel will not have a name or label, but the tab needs to have a label, right? Like details. Now this is the panel and this is a tab that I have created. Got it? If you feel that this tab is really small, you want to make it a little big, you can increase the label width of the tab. Make it 200 pixels. Now this appears to be a bigger tab. Okay, so you can control the width of the tab, alright, as an attribute. Now whatever you want to be displayed inside that tab needs to be put inside this component. Okay, what you want to display inside it, that needs to come inside this. So what details need to be displayed? So let me use a detail component. Related list equals false. That's it. So this will come under this tab. Same way you can create another tab, apex tab label, call it contacts. Sorry, label width can be 200 again, just to keep it a little similar to the first one. Okay, in this case I will display the related list. List equals contacts apex tab label opportunities apex related list equals opportunities. Okay, label width was not controlled here. Apex tab label cases label width equals 200 apex related list equals cases. Okay, so I've created 4 tabs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does not display any data to me at this point of time because I've not supplied the ID. Let me take the ID and put the ID here. Question mark ID equals, put it. See, under details tab you will get to see the details. You want to look into the contacts, you can click on the contacts tab. It will show you the contacts. Okay. Now the interface has become a little more compact and easy to browse or navigate through for the end user. Opportunities are all under this, cases are all under this. Same thing, 2 different ways of displaying the same data, right? Okay, so now we have understood this. There is another thing that I actually want you to understand here. While we are using tabs on a page, there's a small thing that you'll have to understand. While you click on this tab, do you see that the entire page gets reloaded? Notice it once again. I click on this tab, the complete page gets reloaded, right? So this is something which at this point of time I don't have much of data and the internet connection is really fast. So it it does not seem to be a problem, But if you have much of data into each of these related lists, and the net connection is not that good, then this usually takes longer time. Okay, so this entire page reloading, which is not required. Right now, what is happening? Every time I click on a tab, the entire page gets reloaded. It's a very simple concept. Try and understand this. Now my thing is that entire page refresh is not required. Why it is not required? Because only this part of the page is getting changed, right? Header is same, sidebar is same. What is the point reloading that?
We can remove header and sidebar.
No, removing header and sidebar is definitely one thing, but in case I want the header and sidebar to be there, but I don't want that part to be reloaded, because you must have seen in some of the website, if it's a long website, just click on any button and the entire website starts getting reloaded again, which is not a very good thing. Okay, so for that we can have an option where I can just refresh this section, this particular page block section where the tabs are there, so not refreshing the sidebar or the header and stuff. So for that you just have to do a small thing. In the tab panel you have to write switch type equals AJAX, AJAX. Okay, just write it, switch type equals AJAX. The moment you make switch type equals AJAX, you will see the complete page is not getting reloaded, everything is intact, only this part is getting updated. So this makes your page a lot more faster, performance gets enhanced, and it does not take too long to load the page and stuff like that, right? So while you're using tabs, most of the times it's recommended to use this switch type equals AJAX. This will be helpful most of the times. In some cases, or there will be some situations where you actually have to load the entire page because some data update is required on other areas also. That is something which you will gradually understand, but most of the times whenever we are using working with the tabs, it's a good habit to use the switch type equals AJAX. Alright, are we clear on this? Okay, so this is all one more page. Now let me create one more page. So far whatever pages we have created, we have just created pages for displaying the data, right? Now what do I do in case I want some interactive kind of a page? I want the end user to be able to edit the data or enter the data from his side. What do we do there? Okay, so there we can use some of the input components. So let me create another page. I'm going to use standard controller equal opportunity now. Create a page block. And put a title here, call it view opportunity details. Let me create page block sections inside this. So first section I call it view opportunity details. I will create another section and I will call it edit opportunity details. Okay, in the view details I just want to display the data, so it should be opportunity dot name bracket line break and opportunity dot amount, right? So that's for the view. In here I want to edit the information. In the second section I want to edit the information. So for editing the information I'll have to use one more component which is called Apex input field, and that input field has a attribute which can be where we can define which field are we talking about. So opportunity dot name and line break amount. All right. Okay, so whenever you are using this input field component, you always have to use another component which is called an Apex form component. Okay, this input field component should always come within an Apex form component. So it's always good habit to put an Apex form component right after the Apex page. Okay, so that any input field kind of a component which is there, they get covered. So right after the Apex page you can put Apex form component. Okay, that's it. Now let me go to a certain opportunity, take the ID of that opportunity and put it here. Question mark ID equals right. So input field component gives you this input kind of a field where you can make the changes that you want. Alright. So now view allows you only to see the data. So under view I have just used opportunity.name, but under the edit section I have used input field component. So input field component allows me to enter the value. Like for an amount I want to put 200,000. Okay. Now just putting the value here does not save it to the backend database. I have to save it in the backend database also, right? Now whatever I have put is just on the interface, just on the page. So for saving the changes, there is an option of putting another component which is called a command button. So command button, Apex command button is a component which can be used for doing actions, performing actions, like save is an action, right? So it can have, it basically has two attributes. One is value, save now, and one is called action. So value is what will be displayed on the button, so you can put anything there. Action has to be saved. Okay, so now if you ask why save, why this action, because this is a predefined action from salesforce.com. we are using their controller, right? So we are using their action as well. So this is equivalent to the save action on any of the Salesforce records. Now I have a save now button here. If I make it 120000, if I save it, the data will get saved, updated. See, Big Life INC opportunity amount has got updated to 120,000. Got that? Are we clear on this? How we make we made the change to the record, right, using input field. So let's quickly have a look into the code for the last page. So it's very, very simple. There's nothing that we have done. The only thing that we have done is we have used one additional component called input field. Input field will display the data in the form of an input field, and you will have that option of changing it. Okay, but changing it on the interface is of no use if it is not getting saved in the database. So for making the changes in the database, you will have to use a command button. And that command button can have the default save action. We don't have to do anything. We just have to write the save action, and that will make changes in the database. That's it. So that is how simple it is to work with standard controller. Yeah. All right. So Anju, I would just want, as I told you yesterday, you just have to copy the codes all these 5 pages. Okay. Please don't create any page in this series. Okay, I'll continue to create pages on this series V5, V6, V7. You can create your own pages on this, login with some other name, give it some other name, and after every session, please copy the codes and send it to me. I'm gonna share it with everyone, fine, so that you can take reference from that code. But please make sure that you guys are not copying the code and putting it on your pages, right? Try to type the code. Typing is a good habit initially, and we don't have to type the entire stuff here. Basically, the IntelliSense is really good. All right.